This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to take class on systemic lupus erythematosus. It's useful for you for both general medicine and also pediatrics and other gynec and surgery because it's a multi-system disorder. Can anybody name what are the departments they will go? Roll number 5. Roll number 5 is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Roll number 5 absent or present?
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
So any child or a person with SLE, what problems they may have, or give some examples where they will go to which department? Because it's a as I told you, it's a multi-system disorder. They may go to what are the departments for consultation?
Ma'am, they might go to dermatology for the rashes.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, they might also go to rheumatology.
Rheumatology. Okay. For which complaint?
Ma'am, they might
Rheumatology
refer
for?
them to rheumatology.
First, not referral. I'm
General
asking
medicine
directly
for
they will
fever.
go. General medicine for fever. Okay. Okay. Roll number 6. Present or absent? Roll number 6. 7. Roll number 7. 8. Roll number 8 absent. 9. 10. 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what are the other departments she told? They may go to dermatology, they may go to general medicine, they may go to rheumatology, like that she told. Directly, what are the other departments the patient may go to visit?
Orthopedics.
Which departments? Orthopedics for
Orthopedics.
joint pains, good.
Cardiology for rheumatic nodules.
Cardiology, okay.
Yeah.
Roll number 12. Roll number 12. What are the other departments they will go? 13.
Yes, ma'am.
14.
Yes, ma'am. 13 present, ma'am.
14. 13. What
13.
are the other departments they will visit? SLE.
Nephrology.
Be loud. They may go for
Nephrology, ma'am. Nephrology.
nephrology. Good. Actually, this is the one of the complication from which the child or the person with SLE may die with complication. Nephrology complication only. Glomerulonephritis. Any other department? Be loud. You told something.
Pulmonology, ma'am.
Pulmonology department. Good. They may go to the pulmonology department with pleural effusion or pulmonary hypertension with breathlessness. Okay. So what is the definition means? It's a autoimmune disorder characterized by inflammation of connective tissues and blood vessels involving multi-systems. That's the SLE definition, textbook definition of SLE. You should all of you remember because it may be asked for 10 marks question in pediatrics or in general medicine for essay question. So coming to the pediatric SLE. Pediatric SLE or systemic lupus erythematosus is a chronic multi-system inflammatory disorder involving autoimmune disorder characterized by formation of autoantibodies directed against self-antigens. So antibodies and antigen complex with complement leading immune complex formation resulting in damage to essential almost all organs in the body. That's SLE of pediatric age group. Coming to the epidemiology, as all of you know, most probably SLE means it's more common in women of childbearing age group, but that is for adult SLE. For pediatric, there is no gender specificity. It can affect the boys or girls, and usually it's rare in less than 9 years, but we can see pediatric SLE also. Coming to the prevalence of SLE, it's around 10 to 25 cases per 1 lakh children. According to Nelson, it is 10 to 25 cases per 1 lakh children. Usually in a pediatric case group, there is no gender preponderance. Even boys also can be affected with SLE, and most common age group around 15 to 45 years of age. But coming to the prognosis will be poorer in case of pediatric SLE than compared to the adult SLE. Coming to the types of lupus, if just for knowledge sake, one of the type is SLE, others are discoid lupus and neonatal lupus. Discoid lupus usually mainly it's a dermatological manifestation with rash, which is red and in color, and raised edges, and usually common on the face, scalp, and elsewhere. Especially photosensitive, they will have this discoid lupus associated with thick, scaly lesions. It may lead to scarring also. This may be the only manifestation in some of the individual. Then we call as only discoid lupus erythematosus, but it's less common in pediatric case group. Coming to the neonatal lupus, whenever mother is diagnosed with SLE or mother is having autoantibodies, these autoantibodies will pass through the placenta to the newborn baby, and they may manifest in the neonatal period with rash, liver problems, and low blood counts like leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, and anemia. So these symptoms usually, once slowly these antibodies are cleared from the blood, manifestations also will subside. So it takes few months. But sometimes, especially whenever mother is diagnosed with SLE, we should be cautious in an immediate newborn period, because there is anti-RO antibodies in the mother that can lead to complete heart block in the newborn baby. Their heart rate won't cross above 60 per minute. This complete heart block with bradycardia can manifest with congestive heart failure also. And also there is more common neonatal lupus will be drug-induced lupus. With mother with drug-induced lupus also, neonatal lupus will be common. That also, once the drug effect is subsided, then manifestations also go away. So this is few words about the neonatal lupus. You should remember the neonatal lupus. It's a transient problem. Whenever autoantibodies from the mother passes through the placenta, baby may manifest with this problem like skin rash, liver problems, and low blood counts, especially thrombocytopenia. And also they may present with hello class no hello. Coming to the etiology, what are the causes for SLE? Most often cause will not be identified, but there is only few people will be affected with SLE means their genetic predisposition especially plays a key role, like HLA, DR4 and DR2. Those genetic predispositions and other alterations genes will leads to more proneness for a systemic lupus erythematosus. And coming to some environmental triggers and drugs like probenecid and penicillamine will leads to more prone for systemic lupus erythematosus. And also some dietary factors, ultraviolet radiation. These are the hypotheses. Infectious agents, viral infections predispose persons to systemic lupus erythematosus. So what is the mechanism, how this cause means? Usually these triggers or genetic proneness will lead to loss of tolerance to self-antigens also, especially nuclear antigens. So this leads to anti-nuclear antibodies formation, and also one more pathway is dysregulation of immune system. So B cells and T cells will be overactive and lead to autoimmune response to both self and non-self antigens. So these and antibodies complex with complement and other things forms to immune complexes, leading to the formation of immune complex mediated damage and end organ damage. So like can affect the kidney in the form of glomerulonephritis, neurologically brain, maybe they may manifest with seizures or psychosis, like, and vasculitis in the form of Raynaud's phenomenon. They can manifest arthritis. All multisystem involvement will take place due to the immune complexes. Coming to the pathophysiology, same like immune system alteration due to environmental triggers or genetic predisposition, formation of antinuclear antibodies and antibodies to ribonucleic proteins like Smith antigen. In turn leads to the overactiveness of the abnormalities in the B cells and T cell immune system, leading to overactive immune system, formation of antibodies to self and non-self antigens, leading to antigen antibody formation and complexes. So like environmental triggers, multiple genes and hormones, especially that's why in adults and adolescents, females predominance will be there due to the hormonal effect. This and also impaired apoptosis and T cell and B cell alteration all will lead to immune dysregulation. So defective clearance of the antigens and DNA apoptotic cells and break-ins and central tolerance, leading to autoantibodies. So finally, immune complex complement activation, tissue damage. So coming to the clinical features are very important because they can go to any department, not only to the pediatrics, not only general medicine. They may go for psychiatry for psychosis, or they may go for neurology department with seizures, or they may go for the nephrology department with hematuria or proteinuria, like that. Cardiology with carditis and other problems. So like this, the multi-system involvement, they may visit any doctor, any department for gynec for antiphospholipid syndrome, like this. So they may dermatology with manifestation of alopecia, butterfly rash, mucous membrane lesions, photosensitivity, especially photosensitive rash and purpura, Raynaud's phenomena, like they will manifest with whenever cold exposure is there, leading to cyanosis of peripheral disease. It will extend. And urticarial rash, vasculitis, initial manifestation. These are the initial manifestations. So in multi-system involvement, like photosensitivity predominate, that can present with malar rash, butterfly rash, or discoid rash described earlier, and erythematous rash to the exposed areas. Whenever sunlight exposure is there, they may have erythematous photosensitive rash. In the lungs, they may present with cough and tachypnea, pleural effusion, inflammations. Constitutional symptoms like weight loss, chronic fever, like fever of unknown origin, like that, also prolonged fever. One of the differential diagnoses will be the SLE. That's why SLE comes to so many differential diagnoses. Whenever you are putting some tuberculosis diagnosis, you have to put SLE as a differential diagnosis. Malignancy also you have to consider SLE as a differential diagnosis. In case of hemiplegias and seizures also, you have to consider SLE. Like this, SLE will be the differential diagnosis for so many conditions. So for that purpose, you should know what are the clinical manifestations of SLE. So they can present with weight loss, fatigue, fever. So these can be the differential diagnosis for tuberculosis or any chronic infection or malignancy. Or they may present with arthritis, emotional liability like psychosis, mood disabilities. So they may present to the psychiatry department. Hematological disorders like hemolytic anemias, thrombocytopenia, they may present. And neurological symptoms with hemiplegias, focal neurological deficit, seizures, CVS like pericarditis and Raynaud's phenomena, vascular inflammation. All systems will be involved. Kidney with lupus nephritis. If you won't treat, it can lead to end-stage renal failure, and the child or the person may need renal transplantation also. Hematological anemia will be there, especially hemolytic anemia. Leukopenia, white blood cells will be less than 4,000 per cubic mm, and thrombocytopenia with platelets less than 1 lakh per cubic mm. And musculoskeletal arthralgia, arthritis, myositis, and pulmonary pleural effusion, pleurisy, pulmonary hypertension. Pulmonary hypertension usually they present with breathlessness, sometimes mild cyanosis also. So then only we have to think depending upon the age of the child and other associated features. Neuropsychiatric problems, like they may present with cranial palsies, cranial neuropathies, or organ brain syndromes, peripheral neuropathies, psychosis, seizures, transverse myelitis. So all can be the manifestation of SLE. So we have, whenever this diagnosis comes, we have to put the SLE as one of the differential diagnoses. And renal, they may manifest with hematuria or RBC cast, proteinuria, nephrotic syndrome, and glomerulonephritis. Reticuloendothelial system, they may present with hepatosplenomegaly, lymphadenopathy. So hepatosplenomegaly, anemia with lymphadenopathy, thrombocytopenia will be the usually mostly we think about leukemias. But SLE also you have to think the differential diagnosis. Lymphomas or leukemias differential diagnosis, or tuberculosis we have to put SLE one of the differential diagnosis. So coming to the different patient, different manifestation, it won't not uniform in every patient. So clinical presentation varies in different patients. The disease activity also, some may have mild form only. Once treatment with the prednisolone or chloroquine is given, it may subside or may have repeated episodes after few months or years. Some people, they may have frequent features. So it varies in a single patient also over time. So majority have arthralgia of the hands, like pains and swellings. This they may present with fever, rash, alopecia. So compared with adults, children have higher incidence of malar rash and anemia, leukopenia. These renal and neurological manifestations will be more common in pediatric age. Coming to the diagnosis, when to suspect, when to diagnose SLE, always SLE is a clinical diagnosis. So this is the criteria we will use for the diagnosis of SLE. That is a SLICE criteria. That means systemic lupus international collaborating clinics criteria. There are older one is also there, 2012, and recent one released in 2019. So I will tell about the both criteria, 2012 criteria and 2019. It's better to remember the recent one if you can remember, because clinical SLE is always clinical diagnosis. Only laboratory is a supportive evidence. So clinically, usually they will have malar rash, especially that's a pathognomonic of SLE. But it may appear at initial stages or in between or in the late stages. So it's not, we can't expect initially. So especially in pediatric case group, manifestation may varies. But if it is there, usually involves the cheeks, bridge of the nose and the lower eyelids, and usually spares the nasolabial folds. So like this, it will be there. Yeah, erythematous rash. It spares, you can see nasolabial fold will be spared. In the butterfly distribution, it will be there. This is the malar rash. This is discoid rash. Like these lesions are abrupt onset, frequently appear on the exposed parts. Sun exposed parts will be there. And there will be painless ulcers. Oral ulcers will be there. Very frequently they occur, but usually painless. They can involve the buccal mucosa, palate, or lips. And they may have frontal alopecia, usually non-scarring. You can see here the photographs of children with oral ulcers. It's over the palate, here tongue, oral mucosa. So these are usually painless, but they will appear repeatedly. And there will be non-scarring alopecia, like usually localized alopecia, sometimes diffuse widespread alopecia also may be there. Especially we have to think about SLE. So coming to the renal involvement, it's very, very important. If renal involvement without all other criteria, renal involvement with ANA is there, means most probably we have to think about lupus nephritis. WHO classification is there for the lupus nephritis, depending upon the pathological changes, histological findings, renal biopsy findings. They are divided into 6 classifications. Class 1 is minimal mesangial lupus nephritis. Class 2 is mesangial proliferative lupus nephritis. And class 3 is focal lupus nephritis, that is usually proliferative type, focal proliferative nephritis. And class 4 is diffuse proliferative nephritis. These two will be having rapid progression. They have to give methylprednisolone IV or cyclophosphamide IV dose to treat this class 3 and class 4. And class 5 is membranous lupus nephritis, and class 6 is advanced sclerosing lupus nephritis. So here are the histopathology changes of renal biopsy. Here you can see class 1 is mesangial glomerulonephritis. Here is focal proliferative glomerulonephritis, diffuse proliferative. These 2, 3 and 4 bad prognosis, rapidly progress to end stage renal disease. So diagnosis of SLE can be 2 criteria. One is, as I told you, SLICE criteria, that is systemic lupus collaborating clinics criteria, and second one is the American College of Rheumatology criteria for the diagnosis. So for this American College of ACR criteria, more than or equal to 4 criteria should be there at the time of presentation or sometime in the past if you take proper history. So these are the 11 common criteria according to the American College of Rheumatology, that is ACR classification. Malar rash over the cheeks and sparing the nasolabial fold, discoid rash, photosensitivity, oral ulcers, arthritis, joint pain and swelling of 2 or more joints. Is there in OPGI also these criteria. Serositis. Serositis means any serosal layer may be involved. Like if it is in the lung, they will present with pleuritis and pleural effusion. If it is in the heart, they will present with pericarditis and pericardial effusion, like that. Any serosal inflammation of the serosal lining around the lungs or heart can cause pleuritis and pericarditis. Even in the heart, they can manifest with endocarditis also. What is the name given to that endocarditis? Anyone?
Liebman-Sachs.
Good. No,
Liebman-Sachs.
Good. Kidney disorder, usually they will present with persistent proteinuria with cellular cast in the urine, sometimes also with hematuria also. Neurologically, seizures or psychosis, blood disorders like anemia, leukopenia, lymphopenia, thrombocytopenia, immunological disorders with antibodies to double stranded DNA or anti-Smith antibodies, positive antiphospholipid antibodies, any antibodies, abnormal antinuclear ANA. ANA itself is the one criteria. One more criteria, any antibodies to double stranded DNA, anti-Smith, antiphospholipid antibodies is a one more criteria. Among these 11 criteria, there are more or equal to 4 according to American Rheumatology criteria. We can suspect SLE. Coming to the SLICE criteria. SLICE criteria, at least one clinical, this is 2012. I don't think not needed is there in OPGI, but recent one I will tell you. So, but detailed distribution you should know. So, coming to the clinical criteria, it may be chronic cutaneous lupus, classical discoid rash, especially localized or generalized hypertrophic lupus or lupus paniculitis, mucosal lupus. These are the different types of distribution of chronic cutaneous lupus. Or in acute lupus, usually they will present with the malar rash. And oral ulcers, as I told you, usually involves the palate, buccal mucosa, and tongue and lips, usually painless ulcers. And we should exclude the other causes like Behçet's disease and herpes virus infection and lymphomatic bowel disease. And Raynaud's phenomena, they may present with Raynaud's phenomena whenever exposed to cold. So the color will change, some initially pink, then to bluish, and finally they may leads to gangrene also. And renal criteria, especially if you go for the urine microscopy and protein examination, usually microscopy cellular cast will be there. Maybe red cast containing red cells, hemoglobin, granular cast, or tubular cast, in a mixed type also. This is microscopic. And if you do it protein heat coagulation test, usually protein will be more than 0.5 grams per day, or sometimes more than 3+ dipstick method. So usually persistent proteinuria will be there. And the renal biopsy, glomerulonephritis, as I told you, there will be 6 categories classification. Any category may be there, renal biopsy. So these are the microscopic picture of red cell cast and granular cast under microscopy. So clinical and immunological criteria, if you divide, these are acute cutaneous lupus, chronic oral ulcer, non-scarring alopecia, synovitis, serositis, renal, neurological, hemolytic anemia. These are any 4 or more clinical criteria along with one immunological criteria suggestive of SLE. That is 2012 criteria. This is from 2012. But recent one is, this is the recent one. Here, first we will see if you are. First we will look for the, if ANA is present, always apply additive criteria. Like additive criteria, these are clinical domains and immunological domains divided into clinical domains. Again, constitutional, hematological, you can remember like this: constitutional, hematological, neuropsychiatric, mucocutaneous, serosal, musculoskeletal and renal. So constitution fever itself carries 2 points. Hematological leukopenia 3 and thrombocytopenia 4 and autoimmune hemolytic anemia 4. These are the number score given. So depending upon the score, if the score is more than or equal to 10, always we have to classify the child under SLE. These are the neuropsychiatric criteria: delirium, psychosis, and seizures carries 5. Like this, the score will be given for immunological domains also. Antiphospholipid antibodies, like anticardiolipin antibodies, are lupus anticoagulant 2, are complement proteins like low C3 or low C, and both. If only anyone is low 3, both are low means 4 score. And especially SLE specific antibodies like anti-double stranded DNA antibodies or anti-SNP antibodies scores 10 or more. Always we have to diagnose SLE. This is especially SLE is a clinical diagnosis. We have to think this is a score for you to remember. So if you are unable to remember all those, at least you can remember the mnemonic like this: SOAP brain MD. SOAP means S for serositis, pleuritis or pericarditis, O for oral ulcers, A for arthritis, and P for photosensitivity. B for blood alterations in the blood like anemia, leukopenia, thrombocytopenia. R for renal involvement like proteinuria. A for ANA, anti-nuclear antibodies, and immunological antibodies. I for immunological like neurological psychosis, seizures, and delirium, and malar rash and discoid rash. They may have any one rash or both. So this is the easy for if you are unable to remember. Otherwise, ideal is the SLICE criteria 2019 this is the SLICE criteria. Score will be given if you can tell like that. If you can remember, at least clinical domains and immunological domains will be there. In clinical domains, remember some of the things, and immunological domains usually antibodies, antiphospholipid antibodies, and complement proteins, and SLE specific antibodies. Coming to the laboratory investigations, how to confirm your diagnosis once you suspect clinically. So you have to go for a urine microscopy to check for protein urea, and also any RBC cast and RBC are there to rule out hematuria, and any other tubular cast to know the possible kidney damage. And X-ray of affected joint. Usually non-adhesive arthritis will be there in SLE. And chest X-ray to find to know the involvement of the lungs, like pleurisy with pleural effusion or lung fibrosis or any other manifestations are there. And ECG to determine the extra-articular involvement and cardiac problems, like as I told you, in the case of neonatal SLE, they may present with bradycardia, especially complete heart block they may present, or there may be other myocarditis features in ECG. We can, and if needed, you can go for the echo also to confirm your diagnosis, and also to rule out any vegetations in case of Liebman-Sachs endocarditis if they present with fever of unknown origin. Coming to the treatment, so first you will suspect with clinical features, then with then we will put the clinical criteria, SLICE criteria, whether the score is more than or equal to 10. If it is more than 10, then you will confirm with your diagnosis, supportive diagnosis and confirmation by antibodies to double-stranded DNA and anti-Smith antibodies. Then how to treat? Treatment mainly control the disease manifestations, because it's a chronic disease, so we will control. Allow child to have good life, so he can go to school and he can enjoy with his friends. So prevent serious organ damage and prevent adverse effects of the drug-induced drugs. So usually what we will use immunomodulators and steroids. So side effects of the drugs also we should consider. Mainly coming to the pharmacotherapy, what are the drugs we use? Corticosteroids, immunosuppressants, and NSAIDs for pains like joint pains, arthritis, and sunscreen lotion, especially SPF of more than 15 to 20 SPF, that is sun protection factor should be there in sunscreen lotion. These should be applied at least 3 to 4 times, even in cloudy season also, not only in summer, even rainy and winter also they have to apply. Whenever they go out, they have to apply the sunscreen lotion containing SPF of more than 15%. So what corticosteroids we will use? Oral corticosteroid like prednisolone we can use 1 to 2 mg per kg per day in acute exacerbation, and also we have to taper that dose, because steroids for long duration itself have Side effects like hypertension, osteopenia, growth retardation, they're more prone for infections. All those complications will be there. So, and if there are systemic involvement like renal involvement and CNS involvement, we have to go for steroids. High dose corticosteroids only for refractory manifestations of SLE, like severe organ manifestations with CNS and renal and hematological like thrombocytopenia and leukopenia not responding with low dose, then only we will go for the high dose steroids like IV methylprednisolone. We can use 30 mg per kg in pulse doses, not continuously, or continuously for 5 days we can use, and we have to taper. And topical steroids for rash, especially photosensitive rash, we can use. IV methylprednisolone especially we will use for, as I told you, class 4 and class 3 are rapidly goes for the end stage renal damage. So in those conditions we can use IV corticosteroids. Along with cyclophosphamide also we can use cyclophosphamide, but once in a month we will use around 500 mg per kg IV once in a month dose. Next, hydroxychloroquine, especially for skin lesions and joint pains, we will use hydroxychloroquine. The dose of 5 to 6 mg per kg per day we will use, because it's 5 to 6 mg per kg per day. If you use for long duration, it can lead to what side effects? Hydroxychloroquine, maculopathy, it can cause retinopathy, chloroquine maculopathy, and also liver damage. All those complications occur. So we have to watch whether side effects also. NSAIDs we can use especially for temporary relief of fever and arthritis pain. Sunscreen lotions, as I told you, so at least SPF of 15 to 20% should be there. They have to use it for 3 to 4 times before going out. Even in winter and rainy seasons also, all seasons they have to apply to avoid exposure to ultraviolet rays, because it triggers not only photosensitivity, it can trigger the systemic manifestations also, exposing to the ultraviolet light. So for that purpose, they have to use in all seasons. So what are the complications that they can develop? So these may be due to the disease itself, or maybe the drugs used for the disease. Like they may go for hypertension, growth retardation, chronic pulmonary impairment, like in the form of fibrosis and pulmonary hypertension, ocular abnormalities due to chloroquine use and systemic steroids, and permanent renal damage, neuropsychiatric symptoms, musculoskeletal damage, and gonadal impairment. These are the chronic complications of SLE with end organ damage. So not only this prednisolone, methylprednisolone, chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, not chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, and cyclophosphamide. What are the other drugs we can use? These are the emerging therapies in SLE. Like once a child is going for rapidly progressive renal damage with stage 3 and 4, we can go for the renal transplantation. But in renal transplanted kidneys, also the chance that they may develop lupus nephritis. So they can use calcineurin inhibitors like cyclophilin and cyclosporin they can use, and interferon alpha, and these even monoclonal antibodies against anti-D20 like rituximab, and these monoclonal antibodies they can use. These are the under trials for renal damage induced by the lupus. So calcium, what are the advanced treatments? Means calcineurin inhibitors and monoclonal antibodies you can write. So coming to the prognosis, so it depends upon the organs involved. And worse prognosis, especially with as I told you, glomerulonephritis, lupus nephritis, if the stage the diagnosis is stage 3 or 4, and brain involvement like cerebritis. So especially mainly they leads to renal failure in case of lupus nephritis, cerebritis. It will be refractory to the steroids. They have to use advanced therapies with monoclonal antibodies or calcineurin inhibitors. And if you one word to the neonatal lupus usually transient, it don't especially involves the brain. That we have to remember. Brain will be spared in neonatal lupus. Neonatal lupus usually they will manifest with skin rash, liver problem, and also heart, mainly involved with the heart. So brain will be spared in neonatal lupus. But in other than neonatal lupus, brain and kidneys are more commonly affected. So current therapy, if there is end-stage renal damage, you can go for the renal transplant. But even that also the chance that the child may develop lupus in the transplant kidney also. So they have to use immunosuppressant. So this is about SLE. If any doubts are there, the question comes if you can write the definition. What are the clinical manifestations of SLE? What are the etiological agents? Or what are the etiology? What are the probable pathogenesis? Criteria. Remember at least one American Rheumatology Association criteria are SLICE criteria, recent SLICE criteria. If you write recent SLICE criteria, you will score more. Out of 10, you may get around 8 marks. How to treat? Main drugs of pharmacotherapy are steroids, immunosuppressants, NSAIDs, the main therapies in and sunscreen lotions. So that is a pharmacotherapy. In advanced therapy are monoclonal antibodies and calcineurin inhibitors. Any doubts? Anybody?
No, ma'am.
Related question in the theory or in the differential diagnosis of any disease in practicals. Can you describe the clinical features and diagnosis? Okay, no doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. If no doubts are there, then I will close the class, end the class. Pavan,
No, ma'am, say PPT.
Pavan,
Ma'am, PPT share chain, ma'am.
PPT na? Okay, okay. I will. I think it's there in here only. I will ask Surya to send. Otherwise, I will mail you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Bye.